Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at noon starts now.
The House of Representatives is expected to issue a final vote on the nearly $2 trillion COVID relief bill sometime today. These are live pictures from the chamber floor. We take a closer look at the bill coming up. But first, in an exclusive interview with Local 4, Governor Whitmer reflects on the coronavirus pandemic as we mark 1 year of surviving its grip. And that does top our news this noon. Thank you for joining us. Today does mark 1 year to the date since the very first 2 cases of the coronavirus were confirmed here in the state of Michigan. Over the past year, the state case total has climbed to nearly 600,000, and more than 15,000 lives have been lost to this virus here in our state. Governor Whitmer and Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist are asking all of us here in Michigan to turn on our porch lights from 8 until 9 p.m. tonight to honor the lives lost to the coronavirus. Also today, flags will remain lowered to honor the 1 year anniversary. Coming up in just a little bit, Dr. McGeorge is also going to have the 4 things that we have learned we definitely wish that we knew 1 year ago. Meantime, we do want to get to Rod Maloney. He caught up with Governor Whitmer in an exclusive interview. And Rod, what is she saying, to mark this 1 year anniversary?
Well, one of the things she's saying is that she learned early on that she wants to surround herself with very bright people, smart people that know things, epidemiologists and virologists and the like. And she said Michigan is blessed with a lot of those from Michigan State and also from the University of Michigan, and she pressed them into good use. And of course, this is that day we remember a year ago. We'll all talk about what we were doing that day. The governor also talked a little bit about some of the things that affected her. She still thinks that we need to continue doing all the things that have, in her estimation, succeeded: wearing a mask, washing hands, social distancing, and the like, as a way to keep things moving in the right direction as the vaccines start to roll out. She's saying that we can expect an exponential rise in the number of vaccines in the weeks to come. All good news. And one of the things we wanted to talk to her about was what's to happen when schools start next year. As we know, we've got a lot of hybrid learning going on right now, but a lot of moms and dads at home are wondering, when can the kiddos go back to school? So I asked her that question. This was her answer.
I hope so, Rod. I think that's very possible. We know that there have not been a lot of big outbreaks in schools. Certainly there have been some, but if we follow the protocols and we stay smart and we get to that 70% of our adults vaccinated, I think it is very likely that all schools could be fully in person by this fall. Certainly there are things out of our control. We have to watch these variants. So we do have a little bit of control.
And so what she also said was, look, she wants to go to see a football game. She'd like to go and have a family reunion and the like. And she's hoping that by getting to 70% of the population above the age of 16 vaccinated by, say, the spring or even the summer, that all of that is possible. She wants to see that happen. But we talked to her about a range of issues, including the nursing home situation in the state of Michigan, and also how we're going to get a lot of this money that has been vetoed now out to Michiganders. A couple of $1 billion that's left from the old administration, from the Trump administration, and another $10 billion is coming from the Biden administration. And so we'll talk to the governor about all of those issues and questions and what is likely to happen going forward. So we'll have all of that coming up on Local 4 News at 5 and again at 6. Reporting live, Rod Maloney, Local 4.
All right, sounds good, Rod. Thank you. Also making headlines this noon, President Biden will announce that he is directing the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services to purchase an additional 100 million doses of the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine, turning our attention now to the coronavirus and the number of cases across the country. The United States passes 29,099,000 coronavirus cases, and more than 527,000 lives have been lost to this virus. These are the current statistics from Johns Hopkins University database. Closer to home, we expect to get, of course, as we do each afternoon, the updated new cases from the past 24 hours. Meantime, this morning, Dr. Anthony Fauci was interviewed and asked about the most significant thing that he's learned about COVID, and here's how he answered it.
One of them is the extraordinary capability of this virus to just do things that you would not have anticipated. I never would have imagined, even though I've been through multiple outbreaks of different diseases, the thought that you would have 525,000 people in America to have died and about 28 million infections in this country would have really been unimaginable. So this virus is a very formidable enemy, if you want to be metaphorical about it. It's just extraordinary. Things are going much better in the right direction, particularly because of the scientific advances that allowed us to have now multiple highly efficacious vaccines. But we're not out of the woods yet.
Dr. Fauci also voiced concerns about the state of Texas because starting today, Texas is allowing businesses to reopen to full capacity and is also dropping their statewide mask mandate. But as Morgan Chesky reports, even after a brutal year for profit, some restaurants and bar owners are worried about a relapse.
A Texas-sized test on pandemic policies.
They don't need government to tell them what to do. They know exactly what to do.
Governor Greg Abbott ordering all businesses back open, dropping the statewide mask mandate, and stressing COVID numbers are the lowest they've been in months. Not low enough for some.
I think it's much too early.
Now business owners are left to figure out their own plans. At Ascension Coffee in Dallas, they're back to 100% capacity, but mask policies here aren't changing. Manager Shane Obar cautiously optimistic.
My biggest concern is that people are going to not take this pandemic seriously.
In Houston, when Pico's Mexican restaurant announced its mask-on policy wasn't changing, some threatened to call immigration on employees. In Austin, the city using a public health mandate to override the governor's order. The mayor saying leaders should look to the science and data. Texas, one of more than a dozen states now without mask mandates. In California, stadiums reopening in weeks with restrictions. And Disneyland saying it'll welcome back visitors by late April for the first time in more than a year. Disney World in Florida, open since last summer, fully booked through next week. The state already facing spring break crowds with beaches filling up and few masks in sight. From coast to coast, more kids returning to the classroom, some for the first time all year.
Beginning to welcome some of our students back is a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel.
Morgan Chesky, NBC News, Dallas.
Closer to home, the Farmington Public Schools Board of Education has unanimously voted to increase in-person learning. In order to make that increase possible, though, the district is relaxing the 6 feet social distancing measure. However, schools will continue other mitigation practices such as mask wearing, cleaning and sanitizing, and student partitions. The district is currently looking to offer 5 4-hour days of in-person learning for the elementary students with no in-person lunch. And for middle and high school students, they're looking to offer 4 full days of in-person learning. The in-person learning increase could happen as early as March 22nd. The House of Representatives is expected to issue a final vote on the nearly $2 trillion COVID relief bill sometime today. Let's check in with those live pictures of the chamber right now as the debate continues. Once the bill is signed by President Biden, stimulus payments could go out within the next 2 weeks. The bill passed the Senate on Saturday along party lines. It calls for $1,400 in direct payments for most Americans, extends $300 a week federal unemployment benefits into September, and gives money to state and local governments. Jury selection is continuing today in the trial of Derek Chauvin for the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis. Chauvin has pleaded not guilty to second-degree murder and manslaughter charges. 3 jurors have been seated. They were seated on Tuesday, 2 men and 1 woman. A total of 12 jurors and 2 alternates need to be seated. A decision has yet to be made on whether a third-degree murder charge for Chauvin will be added. And if you haven't been outside already, our temperatures are soaring today. We could even break a record as we take a look at a beautiful view of our downtown sky cam. Let's check in with Brandon and see where those temperatures are going.
Yes, we are going to be flirting with the record today. Very good chance at breaking it. We have windy conditions, so 63 in Detroit, south wind 16, 64 in Ann Arbor. As we look at 59 in Port Huron, and winds gusting a little closer to 25, 30 miles an hour. Hold on to your hats. These are not storm-related wind gusts. A warming wind on this warmer Wednesday, hotter hump day. 66 at 2 o'clock, 68 your high temperature. And looks like we're going to get some winds gusting to near 40 miles an hour. We are tracking some wet weather for your Thursday. We'll take a look at that and into your weekend coming up.
Today marks 1 year since the first COVID-19 cases were confirmed in Michigan. Hindsight, well, it's 2020, and looking back now, it's crystal clear we overestimated our ability to control the coronavirus. I'm Dr. Frederick George. Coming up, 4 facts we wish we'd known then and how they can help guide our decisions